before we do the second award, and then we'll do questions and conversation. So the best novel this year went to The Powers of the Earth by Travis Corcoran. Travis couldn't be present. He sent us a speech, which I'll read, so I'm going to be speaking in the first person for Travis. I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight, but I live on a farm and it's harvest season in the Granite State. Live free or die. I first heard of the Prometheus Award a quarter century ago and put writing a novel worthy of winning it on my bucket list. It was an amazing honor to be nominated alongside so many other worthy authors, and I can still barely wrap my head around having won. Eric Raymond said it best: hard SF is the vital heart of the field. The core of hard science fiction is libertarianism. Ornery and insistent, here he's quoting Raymond, ornery and insistent individualism, veneration of the competent man, instinctive distrust of coercive social engineering, end quote. I agree, back to Travis. I agree, science fiction is best when it tells stories about free people using intelligence, skills, and hard work to overcome challenges. This vision of science fiction is under attack by collectivists, and hard SF and libertarian SF are being pushed out of publisher lineups and off of bookstore shelves. Very well, we have intelligence, we have skills, and we're not afraid of hard work. Let's rise to this challenge. The Powers of the Earth is a novel about many things. It's a war story about ANCAPs, uplifted dogs, and AI fighting against government using combat robots, large guns, and kinetic energy weapons. It's an engineering story about space travel, open source software, tunnel boring machines, and fintech, financial technology. It's a cyberpunk story about prediction markets, CNC guns, and illegal ROMs. It's a story about competent men who build machines, competent women who pilot spaceships, and competent dogs who write code. It's a novel that pays homage to Heinlein's The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, which in turn pays homage to the American Revolution. But the historical inspiration for the novel was not actually the American Revolution. It's the founding of the Icelandic Free State almost 1,000 years earlier. The difference is subtle but important. The American Revolution was an act of secession, one part of a government declaring itself independent and co-equal and continuing to act as a government. The establishment of the Icelandic Free State is different in two important particulars. First, it did not consist of people challenging an existing government, but of people physically leaving a region governed by a tyrant. And second, the men and women who expatriated themselves from the reign of Harold Fairhair did not create a government. They wanted to flee authoritarianism, not establish their own branch of it. Thus we get to one of the most important themes of The Powers of the Earth and its sequel, Causes of Separation, the concepts of exit, voice, and loyalty. This trichotomy was first codified in an essay titled Exit, Voice, and Loyalty, Responses to Decline in Firms, Organizations, and States by economist Albert Hirschman in 1970. An aside, I love that this essay was penned while Americans walked on the moon. Hirschman argued that when a vendor or a government fails to deliver, people can either remain loyal, can speak out within the system, or can exit the system. The problem we Americans have in 2018 is that there is no more frontier. Like the engineers in Christopher Priest's The Inverted World, we moved west until we hit an ocean, and that has been our doom. When there is a frontier, it is impossible to deny that the pie is growing. Want a farm? Go hack one out of the forest. Want a house? Go build one. Once the frontier is gone, value can still be created ab initio. The pie is not fixed. For the price of a cheap computer, you can create a novel or a software package. With a $100 video camera, you can be a garage Kubrick. With a free Craigslist ad, you can be a dog-walking entrepreneur. But the closing of the frontier made it easier for the collectivists to argue that the pie is fixed. And worse yet, it made it impossible for the rest of us to get away. We'd all love to live in David Friedman's polycentric legal system, Robert Nozick's meta-utopia, Moldbug's patchwork, or Scott Alexander's archipelago, a place where each of us could live by rules we choose, and people who preferred another set could live by those. But we can't, and that's for one reason and one reason alone: the collectivists who can't bear to let anyone, anywhere, be ungoverned. Totalitarian ideologies, Nazism, communism, Islamofascism, progressivism, all subscribe to the Mussolini quote: all within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. The Nazi sees any area not under Nazi control as a threat. The communist sees any area not under communist control as a threat. The Islamo-fascists see any area outside of Dar al-Islam as Dar al-Harb, a populace to be subjugated. Collectivists see anything not under collectivist control as a threat and as an opportunity. A threat because areas not under collectivist control always work better. It's no accident that just as the Soviets jammed broadcasts from the West, Nazis outlawed American music, Chinese built a great firewall, so too do progressives shadow ban free voices on Twitter and Facebook and expel people from conventions. An opportunity because of what totalitarians do when they see a patch of freedom. They try to take it over, all within, nothing outside. When the patch of freedom is a state, we get the long march through the institutions, as outlined by communist Antonio Gramsci and refined by communist Rudi Dutschke. First they became teachers, first they become teachers, then they influence the students, then they take over the courts. And then it's not too long until some O'Brien is holding up 4 fingers to some Winston Smith, crushing out the last of the wrong thing. When the patch of freedom is a subculture, the mechanism is different. It's discussed in the brilliant essay, Geeks, MOPs, and Sociopaths in Subculture Evolution by David Chapman. One core attribute of totalitarians is that they don't create, they steal. And because they steal, they are both confused by and hate those who do create. As Barack Obama said, you didn't build that. As the internet meme said, you made this, I made this. Since the first Worldcon in 1939, science fiction has been a libertarian territory under attack from authoritarians. Futurian Donald Wolfheim was a communist and argued that all of science fiction should actively work for the realization of the world state as the only justification for their activities. Wolfheim failed with his takeover in 1939. He was physically removed from Worldcon, but he started a Gramscian long march through the institutions, and it worked. In the current year conventions, editors and publishing houses are all cordycepted. The sociopaths have pushed the geeks out and have taken over the cultural territory. You made this, I made this. When the state tries to take your home, they come with guns, and you have to fight them with guns, if at all. When a subculture tries to take your home, they come with snark and shame and entryism, and you fight them by making better art. The bad news for us libertarians is that the cities we built have fallen. The publishers, gone. The bookstore shelves, gone. But what of it? We have Amazon, we have print on demand, we have Kickstarter. And most importantly of all, we have the vital heart, the radiant core of science fiction. We can tell great stories about ornery individualism, about competent men and women using skills and hard work to overcome challenges. This is the one thing the collectivists can never steal from us because it is antithetical to their nature. There is not an ocean in front of us, dooming us to captivity. There is only sky. The frontier is still open. Onward, he says. So I'll be taking this plaque and mailing it to Travis in the next week sometime. And in the meantime, we can do Q&A. You had a question?
Well, I had a comment in support of what you were saying, sir. Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs fame actually said something I found very cogent to your statement, which is happiness is a wonderful byproduct and a terrible goal.
Yeah, yes, it is. And the context in the novel, in the short story itself,